One of the things I've learned in life is that when things happen, what did you learn? I've never lost a fight because my philosophy is if you learn anything, you have accomplished a lot. Why are we not getting where we need to be?
Dan, can I interrupt you 1 second? We're going to move because from here it looks like you're in jail.
Be all right. Be all right.
We can come on over here.
Please take me out of there. This is the message that I want to convey to you this afternoon, and this is going to be the first time that I'll put this message together. We did it over the weekend, been praying about it ever since Kevin called me, and my wife typed it up for me, and I asked Chris, I said, what do you think about it? She said, it's a lot to absorb. So what I'm going to say, and I'm very adamant about this, you may not like it, but it's not about liking it, what will we learn from it? On April 16, 1963, 3 years after 6-year-old Ruby Briggs boldly entered an all-white school, African Americans were still fighting against segregation. In fact, civil rights activist and Christian minister Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested and put in jail for protesting racial segregation in Birmingham, Alabama. While in prison, Dr. King wrote one of his most moving pieces, Letter from Birmingham Jail. King letter addressed fellow clergymen, some blacks and some white, who had constructed deceitful philosophies to support their belief that the church should not be engaged in the fight against segregation. King wrote, in the midst of a mighty struggle to rid our nation of racial and economical injustice, I have heard many ministries say those are social issues in which the gospel has no real concern. And I have watched many churches commit themselves to a completely otherworldly religion which makes it a strange, unbiblical distinction between body and soul, between the sacred and the circular. You see, King was rejecting a philosophy that supported a Christian non-involvement in issues of social justice. This kind of philosophy was wrong to King. Jesus Christ had died for him to be free, and the American tradition of racism and legal segregation was an affront to his God-given right. It should come as no surprise that Dr. King wrote this as a Republican. It was the Democrat who King was fighting, and it would not have joined the Democratic Party, the party of segregation and the party of the Ku Klux Klan. The Republican Party, from its foundation in 1854 as an anti-slavery party until today, the Republican Party has championed freedom and civil rights for all blacks. The concept is we need to get the message out. The Democrat Party, as author Michael Schuller stated, is the Democrat is the party of the 4 S's: slavery, secession, segregation, and now socialism. Slavery, Democrats fought to expand it, and Republicans fought to ban it. We need to get the message out. After the Civil War, Republicans amended the U.S. Constitution to grant blacks freedom, the 13th Amendment, citizenship, the 14th Amendment, and the right to vote, which is the 15th Amendment. We need to get the message out. Republicans passed the Civil Rights Law of the 1860s, including the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and the Reconstruction Act of 1867. That was designed to establish a new government system in the Democrat-controlled South, on that one that was fair to blacks. In the book, The Political Lincoln, an encyclopedia professor, Paul Frankelman, and Martin J. Horshaw debunked the sole myth that President Lincoln was somehow a racist. Because of his measured approach to ending slavery in the rebellious South, first, while waging a war to end all slavery nationwide. We need to get the message out. Democrats fought to prevent the passage of every piece of civil rights legislation from the 1860s to the 1960s. The Republicans started the NAACP in 1909 on Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday to counter the racist practice of the Democrats. The first black American to head the NAACP was a Republican, James Weldon Johnson, who wrote the lyrics of the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, the inspired song that is considered to be the black national anthem. Today, while professing to Reverend Dr. King, Democrats are still trying to tarnish his image and diminish his civil rights achievement by claiming that if Dr. King were still alive today, he would embrace the circle party of the Democrat Party. Dr. King was a Christian who held deeply his religious belief, was guided by his faith, his Republican Party principle, and his struggle to gain equality for blacks. He did not embrace the type of socialist agenda promoted by the Democrat Party today, which include fostering dependency on welfare and breakup families, approving partial birth abortion, and banning God from the public square. We cannot have an enlightened democracy with one great group of living in the ignorance that the Democrats are all black and Republicans are all white. We cannot be truly Christian people so long as we float the central teaching of Jesus' brotherly love and the golden rule. The first blacks in Congress were all Democrats, Republicans, forgive me. What I'm saying to you this afternoon is that this is the message we got to get out. The black community has been bombarded with the concept that all blacks are Democrats and rich white people are Republicans. And that is nothing further from the truth. If we're going to bring a significant change where we're going to get a crossover from the black community and get the black community involved in the Republican process, we have to get the message out that the Republican Party is the party of freedom, the party of liberty, the party of the race that we can move and advance and do better in our society. What we need to do is stop sitting back and doing nothing. I think the problem that we're having today is that people are afraid to face the truth. We're afraid of the truth. When you stand boldly and deal with the truth, you're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get criticized. But what I want to share with you, you just got to take the bullets as they come. And I believe wholeheartedly that the message the Republican Party needs to bring forward now is to bring the reality of who the Republicans really are. The Republican Party, once again, I reiterate, is the party of freedom, equality. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Martin Luther King quoted that. And he quoted that in the sense that the black community need to realize that being a Republican is not taboo. One of the things that I was challenged with and what I dealt with was, as a matter of fact, is when I decided I was going to run for the state senate and running as a Republican, I was telling Kevin one of the things I thought that I was going to be attacked by the black community. I really thought I was. I really thought the black preachers were going to attack me. Winn, you're a traitor, you're a backstabber, you're all this. There was nothing further from the truth. I was embraced in a way that I could not imagine. Now, did I win? No. But we made a significant point. We took on a challenge. And I'm saying that we need to broaden the horizon and broaden the challenge for everyone. All we need to do is start getting this information in the community. We have these predominantly Democrat areas. And it's because the black community do not know who they really are and who they really stood for and where they really came from. And that's our responsibility as the Republicans of the day. We have to get the message out. We got to have people to know it's the Republican Party that freed you. It's the Republican Party that stood for you, not the Democrats. It's the Democrats that kept you oppressed and keeping you oppressed. One of the things that we campaigned on was work ethics, welfare reform. Work ethics, welfare reform. You do not have to be on welfare. The Democrats keep pouring out money, pouring out money, pouring out money, pouring out money to keep you oppressed. How can they know if there's no one to teach them? Our problem is we're not teaching. We're asking for votes, and they're not voting for us, and we're wondering why. Because we don't know it better. I was a Democrat my majority of my life until the last 4 years. And when I researched the Republican Party, I found out the Republican Party is more conducive to who I am as an individual in comparison to the Democratic Party. And I made the change. And I've changed quite a bit of others in the process. It's not difficult. It's not hard. But we have to tell them. We have to speak it. And we have the facts to back it up. And we're basing everything we're saying on truth. And that's all we need to do. We have to educate the black community.